we got like a 5 stack of hammocks set up, just having fun with other disc golfers, goofing off and having a good time. Always, I think, just makes the overall feel of the event a little more special.
Hey guys, Johnny Disc Golf here in Burlington, Kentucky for the 2019 Idlewild Open with coverage presented by Prodigy. I am standing here next to the winner of not last year, but the year before's Idlewild, Mr. James Conrad. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, Corey. Thanks for having me today.
Yep. And how are you doing now that you're back from Europe? I know it was your first trip overseas. You go okay?
Yeah, it was a great time. I got to spend close to a month over in Europe, so got to see quite a few different places. I spent about half that time in Finland and really enjoyed my time there. The disc golf there's great. It was a lot of fun to see how much support it has, and it's definitely a little bit of a different feel, but it's also feels good to be back home, back with my van, back with all my things, a little more comfortable.
Yeah, how was it? A lot of people, might not realize that you and a lot of the disc golfers live really full time in the van. Was it like I don't even know, was it scary being away from home for so long?
I wouldn't say scary, but it has definitely made me kind of appreciate having everything I have with me at all times. Just traveling, I traveled pretty light. I had one big backpack with all my clothes and then another smaller backpack with some discs and my carry-on stuff. So, I was fine with even less stuff than I normally have, but it made me appreciate coming back and, just having a bed and not having to deal with rental cars or hotels or doing any of that, having a fridge with me all the time, like just the little things of van life that make it so convenient for tour life. It's probably made me, not take those things for granted as much as maybe before. But yeah, it was a great trip, great experience, and also glad to be back, especially here at Idlewild.
Yes.
I love this place.
Dude, I'm so glad you said that because this is maybe my favorite stop on tour. I might have the most fun out of any course playing on this course. So challenging. What's going through your head? You just had a huge event, but this is like a favorite for you. Like, where's your mindset at?
I'm just happy to be here. This place is pretty special for me. 2 years ago was like my first pro tour win, my biggest win at that point in my career. And so yeah, and then last year I responded pretty well. Was able to tie for second last year, so a good track record here, 1-2. Look forward to coming out and playing some good golf. It's a tough track. It'll bite you if you're off by an inch. Just have to really pick your line, commit to it, and attack. You can kind of play safe, but it's still, even the safe plays require like full commitment to the shot you're going for, and I think that makes this course pretty unique. It definitely rewards like the committed, aggressive shot, whether that's a fast disc or a slow disc, whether it's like a forehand or backhand. You have to like know what you're doing and execute it. And
yeah, it really, to me, like one of my favorite shots that I see is a fully committed, full power shot in the woods. And I think, from talking to people, like that's almost what you're most known for is ripping these shots in the woods. Right. Do you feel like that gives you an advantage out here?
I think it does, yeah. I feel almost most confident hitting my line when I'm really, committing to the shot, really getting my whole body into it, really attacking. And that's, like I was saying, that's what this course asks for. So I think it suits my game pretty well. I can throw slow discs and like putters and mids and fairway drivers and still be getting far enough down the fairways to score. And those slower discs kind of maybe eliminate the chances of like really drastic, really bad kicks. Like even if I miss with a soft AVR, it's more likely to just kind of fold on the tree and drop and be able to scramble for par or whatever. And so that's an advantage for me, I think, out here. And yeah, just being able to enjoy playing the course always helps me. It's fun for me to try to see a line and then try to execute it, and the satisfaction from like executing a shot that you drew up in your mind is like so much greater on a tough wooded course like this than it is for me on like an open course where the shot you're imagining isn't really that different from a shot that's a little bit off from that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that because European Open out there in Nokia, it had some wooded technical shots, don't get me wrong, but there is a lot of that open airspace with a little bit of out of bounds. Is it tough to get your mind off of that style of golf and back into the woods?
Not too tough for me. The way I've been attacking the more open courses lately is I try to play them almost like I do a wooded course and pick a very specific shot, like maybe follow this OB line with a little bit of hyzer and bring it in at this point. So I've been trying to modify my game to where I can attack and score just as well on the open courses. So it's not a huge difference really the way I look at a course. Like if I'm on an open hole, a lot of times I'm trying to throw a dead straight shot and never leave the inbounds area. You know, I think that might be one of the safer shots on some of those cases. So it's not a huge difference for me, but I'd say the biggest difference is just in the mentality. Like for me, it's more fun to be playing in the woods, and,
Sure.
and having more fun out there makes it a lot easier to score well.
Yeah, and as we are dealing with some planes flying over, I hope the audio isn't too rough. But speaking of having fun, you guys got a crew and a scene over here. There's like, what, 30, 40 disc golfers camping here? What's that been like?
Yeah, it's great. I think at least 20 plus, maybe 15 rigs, and a couple people in some of the rigs, and it's really cool that the park department is letting us, hang out here for the week. I don't think we're trashing the place or anything. Like but it's just being on the course, being on site, being back around everyone on tour. At night, we got like a 5 stack of hammocks set up. Just having fun with other disc golfers, goofing off and having a good time. Always, I think, just makes the overall feel of the event a little more special.
Yeah. It kind of has that feeling of like a camping tournament, which, if speaking about my local scene, we have a lot more of those, but it doesn't really have that vibe on tour that much. Do you feel like it kind of like brings you back to a simpler time, maybe?
Maybe so, yeah. Definitely a lot of the disc golf routes, like the tournament routes, for me are like going camping for the weekend and playing disc golf and hanging out with all the other disc golfers, and almost like just playing frisbee, playing catch at night, and that sort of thing. So I think anytime that you get that feel on tour, it makes it more special. Some of my other favorite spots like Maple Hill have the similar feel, and
Absolutely.
Green Mountain, even though we're not camping, everyone's on site there, and it's similar. Some of the most fun times on tour tend to be when everyone groups up and has a good time together.
Yeah. You mentioned that you were back at your van and that you've got everything allotted to you now. When you're in Europe, you actually went extra minimal though, because you only had like 10 discs that you were playing with. Is that true?
That's true, yeah. I knew I was going to be taking some different buses and trains and planes and all that, so I wanted to travel as light as possible. Plus, been thinking that could help my game to simplify even more. There's certain discs that I know I have a ton of confidence throwing. If I'm pulling out my T-Bird or my Thunderbird or my Aviar, it's like my confidence level's so high that even if I'm not going to do anything too crazy with it, just being able to keep it in play, keep it down the middle, throw high quality shots.
Yeah.
It's like I don't need too many extra discs to maybe take my mind off to like have that indecision. Do I want to throw this or do I want to throw that? If I'm sure that I'm going to throw this and that I know how I'm going to throw it, I felt like it might help my game, to an extent, and it was fun. I think I played pretty well. I don't think I was missing any disc that would have helped me score better,
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you think it like positively, negatively? You think it was a neutral thing? What do you feel?
I think probably pretty neutral.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't feel lacking. I was never out on the course like, dang, I really wish I had this right now. But there maybe I could have scored better at a couple times if I had, opted for a roller. I didn't really have a good roller disc in my bag over there. But yeah, I think neutral, maybe slightly positive, but with a few drawbacks here and there.
Okay. Thinking about your European trip one more time, this is just the first time we're kind of catching up about it. You were absolutely shredding at Estonia through 2 rounds, and unfortunately it didn't quite go your way that final round. What does it take for you as a professional to kind of get your head back on, know that there's more disc golf events, and get out there and compete at a high level?
It's a tough question. I think, you just gotta. It's not the first time that's happened to me. I've had plenty of tournaments where I was in contention, I was playing well, and then the final round didn't go my way, and it is what it is. It's never fun at the time, but just I think it's positive. Having a lead going into the final round is a unique feeling, and getting that experience under the belt, whether or not it goes your way, will help next time. And yeah, I think I'm pretty good at shrugging it off. I might be pretty upset at myself immediately following, but afterwards I can try to look back and analyze, like maybe whether I let the pressure get to me, whether I just didn't stay in the right mindset. Just trying to figure out these kind of things, because that's what so much of the difference is between first and third place is pretty much all mental. Whether how well you focus, how well you can play once that pressure really starts to elevate. And yeah, it's a good experience, even not winning. I think it was still a positive takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I was saying, an overall positive, weekend and trip overall. What was the final placing at European Open? The biggest event that you went over there for.
I finished in 8th place. I was the top 3 or 4 were pretty separated. Between 5th and 10th, we're all really close. So yeah, right in that mix. You know, a solid showing. Could have played better. Wasn't able to focus through any entire round. You know, I played some of the difficult portions of that course very well, and then some of the easier parts I kind of lost focus and gave away quite a few strokes. But yeah, felt happy with my game overall and positive looking forward. You know, getting into some wooded courses coming up on tour and some of my favorite tournaments of the year. So feeling good about the game and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking right now, I mean, the person that you've been battling with in years past here at Idlewild, you know, Paul Macbeth, took down European Open, but he's going to take a break until Worlds.
Right.
Do you feel like that is added like motivation for you to play well, or do you think that your chances are better with a couple of those guys? I'm thinking Simon, Eagle, Paul, kind of all skipping out on this one.
I'd say, I mean, just looking at it statistically, my chances are definitely better without those guys here, but I'd like to see them here as well. Like Paul's one of my favorite competitors to compete against. You know, anytime that you're like both my Pro Tour wins, you know, it's been Paul that I had to beat out, and I feel like that makes it feel even better. But anytime, you know, coming down the stretch against anyone, whether it's Paul, whether it's Ricky, whether it's Kevin Jones, whether it's Zach Melton, you know, anyone, the feelings kind of are the same towards the end. Like if it's close, you know, that's what really gets fun at the end of a tournament, like battling. I don't know, but yeah, it'd be cool if everyone had made it the trip here, but it should be a great tournament either way.
No, absolutely. You are on the 3:30 card today. This is round 1 that we're shooting this. How do you feel being that person that people are like so looking forward to watching play in the woods?
I like it. Yeah. I think having people expecting me to do well maybe helps me to play well to an extent. I think pressure is a good thing for the most part. You can it can get to you in negative ways, but overall just having high expectations and having like a little bit more pressure on you to play well, I think I've been able to channel that pretty well in the past and been able to use it to step up my game and to deliver.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to watch you all weekend long. I'll be hanging around the card today, but if not, I will absolutely be watching the footage later. Thank you so much for this interview, but I want to give you a chance to say anything that you'd like to the people back home, anybody that's been pulling for James Conrad, both overseas and here back in the States.
I want to thank my sponsor, Innova. They've been helping me out a lot this year. I want to thank everyone that's bought my James Conrad Glow AVRs. I've been loving them this year. Hopefully y'all have too. And yeah, thanks to all my friends and family watching. Appreciate y'all.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. You got a round to play, so I'll let you get over there and we'll start warming up. But for you guys at home, if you'd like coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for checking out that interview. I'd like to give a special shout out to Prodigy Disc and CC. You know who you are, buddy. And I'd like to give a shout out to all of you. The people make it possible for me to do this and the thing that I love. So thank you so much. And if you'd like to get involved, check out patreon.com/JohnnyDiscGolf. Thanks.